God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen. Well, another episode. Welcome, one and all, to the Silver Lining Recovery Show podcast, broadcasting from Cleveland, Ohio, and that is Ohio, Ohigho, because Ohio is the king of getting high. um, you know, if you're looking at this, you're probably in treatment, been in treatment, or you may need treatment. I am Levance Lining, recovered cocaine addict, and your host of this show where we talk about all things mental health, awareness, addiction, and recovery. How do we recover from the drug, alcohol, the substance, the activity that has held us hostage and mistreated us severely throughout our use, our activity, indulging in that activity? Um, Many of you know already. If you don't know, you're about to know. um, in about 6 days, on August 22nd, which happens to be my birthday as well, I'll celebrate 18 years of recovery from crack cocaine. A lot of people try to sugarcoat it, just say cocaine. No, I was using the crack, the kryptonite, for anybody that picks it up and uses it. And it's all through the glory of God. Nothing I did. I just changed one thing, and that is still everything. So you can do it too. Just wanted to encourage people. Shout out to my little bro, Robert Charles Johnson Jr., who is currently going through the process of recovery. And, I remember my first trip in recovery, which was 23 years ago. And it was new, and that's all the things that we say in treatment, guys. I talked about, me being a grown man and not wanting people to tell me what to do. How dare you, call me an addict when my life has been unmanageable, when I've done things to myself, to other people, because of this drug, because of this substance that nobody dragged me to go use. Each time I picked it up, it was a choice. It was a conscious choice, a decision to go get this substance and call it a party. Cocaine, we say, hey, I'm going to party. But that is a sad party when you end up selling your car to a 14-year-old. You end up running off with your kid's PlayStation or Xbox and selling it to somebody for some crumbs. I've seen it happen. You don't have to live that way, guys. I really want to focus on the things that I did when I was in treatment, how selfish and self-centered I was with the people that were trying to help me. They're trying to help me. And the worst thing you can do as an addict, as a person whose best thinking got them a bed and a seat in treatment, is to tell somebody how to help you. Because guess what? If you could help yourself, you would have never made it to treatment. So sit down and shut up like I did. Finally sat down and started listening and realized I didn't know what I thought I knew. The famous thing that an addict will say at any given time in their recovery career is, I know what to do. I know what I'm doing. Well, where's the evidence of that? Because the evidence of learning is changed behavior. So if your behavior hasn't changed, if you're not moving different, then you haven't learned anything. You're just tired of people telling you what to do. And so what you'll do is put a mask on that. So yeah, I know what to do. All it takes us, guys, is 28 days to learn how to function in a sober environment. Whether we want to be sober or not, we adapt, because we're human and we were addicts. Addicts, we adapt to whatever neighborhood we're in. We become accustomed and we adhere to whatever the culture is in that neighborhood. I did it in Cleveland. I did it in Atlanta. I did it in Camden, New Jersey. I did it in Trenton, New Jersey. Do me a favor, Google Camden, New Jersey in the 1980s. And it was a murder capital. and the crack cocaine capital of the United States. Camden and Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton is the capital. And I used to use a block from City Hall. I could see the Capitol building in Trenton from the block on the corner that I was standing on trying to buy crack in the 80s while I was in the Army. How about that? I was the original soldier boy. Wasn't rapping. I was cracking. So I lived it. I lived it. Everything I talk about, guys, happened. I probably forgot 1,000 stories. I could tell you some great stories, some funny stories, some hilarious stories. But you got your own stories. You don't need to hear mine. Think about your worst story, and I did it. If I didn't do it, I seen it done, but you can recover. I could not survive in treatment if I challenged everything that was brought to me by the people that are trying to help me. Remember, people that work in treatment are not doing it for the money. There's not a lot of money working in treatment or recovery, sober living, inpatient treatment, IOP, you name it. There's not a lot of money. They don't pay people. They don't overpay people for helping people. You think about it, school teachers would be making more money if our culture in America was accustomed to paying people well who help people, who build people. Well, that's what teachers do, and that's what people who work in recovery and treatment do. They help build people. People who work in mental health, they help restore people and help build people and make people better for the rest of their lives. So they should be getting paid like NFL players, NBA players. They should have a contract. And I know the argument, people say, well, nobody's going to pay to come and watch them make people recover. But guess what? You want them to be successful at their job because that's going to keep that addict, that untreated addict, from breaking out your car window or sticking you up while you walk into your Bentley. So pay the people more. So people who work in treatment, guys, are doing it for the love of helping people. Some people are unskilled now that we have this advent of for-profit treatment. When I went to treatment, it was community-based, which means the people that came were predominantly from the community where the treatment center was. And so they did a great job with us because guess what? We were going to be released, restored back to the same community. So who wants a reminder of, I didn't do my job right, when this guy who stayed here for 90 days now is back using again, or has broke into a treatment center and stole our washer and dryer. So I prefer community-based treatment, but treatment is treatment if you do it right. Whether it's profit-based or community-based. I encourage you, if you're unfamiliar, get familiar. Take you some CDCA classes, take you some peer support recovery coach classes, and find out about the disease of addiction. Your niceness, your great personality is not enough to help people recover. There has to be rules, there has to be boundaries, there has to be a operational curriculum for people to recover. The first thing we have to do, which I had a problem with, is I can't have it my way. Every suggestion I make, I want to change my room. Oh, he gets a new room. Oh, I don't like my roommate. Oh, I get to get a new roommate. How are you going to re-enter society if you can't get along with the people in society? Treatment is a microcosm or a smaller version of society. So when you leave treatment, you are going back to the world, which has a lot more people than those 10 or 12 or 20 people that you're living with in treatment. The world is much bigger than that. So guess what? Treatment is practice for the world. What you do in practice is what you're going to do in the game. So if you can't get along with people, guess what? People who are just like you, people who are in addiction, in recovery, trying to recover from a hopeless state of mind and body, and you can't get along with them. But you think you're going to be able to get along with the people on your new job who never use drugs, never drank, don't have the issues that you have, don't have a mental health diagnosis, but you're ready to get along with them. Not going to happen. More than likely, you're going to use again, or you're going to be such a jerk that nobody's going to hire you. or they'll hire you and you won't make 90 days. Because guess what? You didn't change everything. You choose to change what you wanted to change, and you left the rest to chance. That's what we do. That's what I did as an addict. I thought that I could self-will myself because I'm pretty smart. And I got by with manipulation and my bravado and my arrogance and my selfishness and self-centeredness. It would allow me to excel in the Army, excel on jobs. I was always a leader, got promoted to manager, supervisor, etc. And I thought I knew everything. And I was my own worst enemy, because nobody could tell me anything because I could figure it out quicker than you could. I just couldn't execute it. I could tell you how to run your treatment center, but guess what? I couldn't stay sober. Guess what? 18 years later, today I can because I know people. Remember, some of you don't know, I have been doing stand-up comedy since I was 17. So that is 40 years that I've been speaking in front of people, diverse group of people, whites, blacks, Hispanics, you name it, across this country. So I know people. I know how to deal with any personality type because I survived addiction. If you survive your addiction, you're watching this, you're in treatment, you're in IOP, you're in recovery, you're in sober living, you're a survivor. You have the skills to survive in the worst environment that society looks down on us. We all have the stigma as folks in recovery as being the worst of the worst. But guess what? We're actually the best of the best. You know why? Because we have survived in neighborhoods where people are trying to rob, kill, poison us, and you still here. How does that happen? God. God kept you here for a reason, guys. It is to tell somebody else that recovery is possible. Not because of you. Not because of you. Because of God. I went to treatment with some Muslims, and they were, they tried to get their diet back in treatment. And I don't eat pork. I was a cook. They would come in there and challenge me in the kitchen. I don't eat pork. I told them like Chris Rock said years ago, how does Allah feel about you putting heroin, methamphetamine, and Molly in your system? And you talking about you don't eat pork? Well, which is worse? I think God is really mad at you about them needle tracks in your arm more about than you eating the doggone bacon sandwich. So you can't have it your way. If you were so worried about your diet, you wouldn't have put yourself in a position to be in somebody's treatment center. So make adjustments, don't make excuses. Everybody has a great excuse for why they got high, why they relapse, etc. I talk to guys all the time, and I know guys that have been to treatment centers, all their locations. This treatment center I used to work for has about 4 locations in Ohio. This guy has been to all of them. And I asked myself, how you make it back? Because he was so proud I graduated. Well, you couldn't have graduated because you came back. Nobody graduates college and then are back as a freshman next year. Nobody graduates high school and then I'm back in the 10th grade. You know why? Because I wanted to do it. He told me, I watched my best friend get shot. Okay. That sounds like a great excuse to use, but guess what? Did you honor your best friend by using the drug that both of y'all knew was trying to kill you? You think he's in heaven going, yep, that's my boy. Look at him. Yeah, get one for me. Did it bring him back? Did getting high bring that person that you cared about, that you loved? And I'm not dismissing that. I just want you to know that picking up is not the solution. It's not going to bring that person back. It's going to make you possibly join your dearly departed. So why do it? Why are you picking up? You have an allergy, guys. You have an allergy to cocaine. You have an allergy to crystal meth. You have an allergy to opioids. You have an allergy to pills, to weed, whatever it is, you have an allergy. And what do you do when you have an allergy? Well, you take Benadryl, you take medication, and guess what? You don't put the stuff that you're allergic to inside of your body. That's how you avoid the allergy manifesting in your life. I have a profound allergy to crack cocaine. And guess what? I've been clean 17 years and 360 days, 359 days, clean from crack cocaine. But I still have an allergy. If I pick it up tomorrow and think that 17 years, 359 days was enough to dismiss my allergy, I'm wrong. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to be out getting people to break into cars. I'm not a thief. I'm a manipulator. So I talk other people into, or like we say in the hood, put jumper cables on people to go do the dirt. And I sit around the corner, wait till they're done, and then reap the rewards. So I'm going to be back at it. And I don't go back at level 1. I go back at level 10 where I left off at. Because you're in treatment right now, guys, because you were at a level 10, 11 out of 10, 22 out of 10. That's the level you're at. That's why you ended up in treatment. So give yourself time to make the adjustment to a normal way of life. Prayer, meditation, get in the big book, read the doctor's opinion, find out about the disease of addiction. Guess what? Many of us don't want to admit that we're an addict, but all the signs in our life show that we are. We try to limit how much we're going to spend on our drug of choice. Well, I'm only going to spend $100. And you're never successful. You spend all the money that you have with you, and then you go get some more. I'm only going to spend 20 at a time. Because at the end of the night, you're like, man, why couldn't I stop at $20? You know why? Because you are an addict. You have an allergy to that drug. Drugs are designed for a certain purpose. They're designed to, or created to, make you addicted to them and make you want more of that drug. I remember many times, I would sit in the crack house and watch people get up and leave with money and say, yeah, I'm done. I got $90 left. I'm going to leave. I'm like, why don't you leave that $90? Where you going with that? That $90 still want to get high, and I couldn't figure out why they would do it. I think I spent probably another 2 years in addiction trying to be that guy. But maybe that guy didn't have an allergy like I did, What if you had an allergy to seafood? What if you were allergic to shrimp, crab, lobster, like my brother, and it made your breakout itch, made your throat close up, and almost killed you. But you kept eating it anyway. Or you finally get the medication for the allergy to seafood, plus you stop eating seafood. And you decide to wait 17 years, 359 days to eat shrimp again. Guess what? It's going to do the same thing it did 17 years, 359 days ago. It's going to make your throat swell up. It's going to make your eyes water. It's going to make your nose run. And you're going to be in the hospital, if not dead, if you don't have an EpiPen or whatever they use, Benadryl, whatever, for your allergy. And so your drug of choice is the same way, guys. You cannot use it. You cannot use any form of any mood or mind-altering substance, because what it's going to do is make your thinking problem so profound. Your thinking problem is going to say, oh, that was some terrible weed. Only thing that's going to clear it up is crack. Only thing that's going to clear it up is a toot of heroin. Only thing that's going to clear it up, oh, a little methamphetamine. Well, guess what? All prescribed medication, guys, has a warning label on it. Lets you know what the side effects are. Lets you know what will happen if you don't take it as prescribed, etc. So our street drugs don't come with prescriptions. We are our warning label. You are your warning label for why you shouldn't use whatever you were using. Think about that. Think about how you act when you on methamphetamine. Every drug has a purpose. I take insulin. I take a lot of medication for my kidney transplant. All of them have side effects. All of them have a warning label. So what is methamphetamine good for? What is it good for? What is it prescribed for? Oh, I want to do the moonwalk from here to Chicago. Oh, I want to scratch myself into oblivion. Oh, I want to pick all the bumps off my face, my legs. They aren't there, but I just want to scratch myself up. Oh, I feel like getting rid of my teeth. Maybe I'll use methamphetamine for 6 months. Crack cocaine. Oh, crack cocaine doesn't have a warning label. Oh, doesn't tell me that I'll be sitting at somebody's peephole at their door for 14 hours straight looking for the police in the hallway. It doesn't tell you that. But that's what happens every time I use it. And so why would I continue using something like that that's going to do me like that? You think about X-Lax. Thank you, Sean Hardy. You think about X-Lax. X-Lax is designed to make you do what? Go sit on somebody's toilet, anybody's toilet, 30 minutes after you use it. So you think you could self-will yourself out of that prescribed purpose of X-Lax? Because if you eat 3 pieces of X-Lax, pretty soon you're going to have to be sitting down at somebody's toilet. So you think because I have an allergy to X-Lax or X-Lax ain't strong as me, I can self-will myself not to let X-Lax do what it was designed to do. Guys, X-Lax is going to make you sit on the toilet whether you want to or not. And so heroin is going to make you nod whether you want to or not. Crack cocaine is going to make you want another hit 5 minutes after you just took one, because that's what it's designed to do. These drugs are designed to do that. Molly's going to make you want to dance. PCP, butt naked, wet, is going to make you take your clothes off and ride a bike 44 miles an hour down the street. That's what it's designed to do. So why would you do it? You already know what it's designed to do, but you think that I'm so strong, I can stop myself from doing it. You can't. That's why you're in treatment. It makes you stronger to be in treatment. It's not a sign of weakness, because guess what? Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, former vice president of the United States, senator for 50 years, his son was smoking the same drug I used to use. How does that happen? And y'all know, like I know, he was paying way too much. So I would have been tearing his mouth out. I'd be like, yeah, Hunter, it's going to be 10 grand for this gram and another 10 for me not to tell, because I took a picture of you, so I know he took a beating in them streets, Yeah, Hunter Biden, yeah, come on, get mine. Yeah, boy, I'm about to put my kids through college, one sale. Yep, so, drugs don't discriminate. They make it to the White House. Now, a lot of people say that was Hunter's cocaine that somebody dropped in the White House. Guess what? Addicts don't drop cocaine. Okay? You get hit by a bus, that cocaine going to be in your fist when they find your dead body. They're going to have to use the jaws of life to open up your hand, and it's still going to have that packet of cocaine in it. They're going to be like, oh, he had cocaine stuck in his palm. Because a real addict don't drop their drugs. I seen a guy one time, guys, he got knocked out. He went to cop from somebody else, and guess what? A guy that he already owed money was standing there beside him. He didn't even notice him because he was in such a rush, and he was so geeked from using that he bought from a guy, and the guy that he should have been buying from or repaying was standing right there. So the guy said, where my money at? He was like, huh? And so the guy knocked him out. Bop! The people in the store called the ambulance. When the ambulance came, he was knocked out in front of the store on his back like this, and crack cocaine was still in that right hand. Because guess what? Addicts gotta have it. We gotta have it by any means necessary. That's why you see people crying on cops, when they get caught, they get arrested, because they mad because I didn't get a chance to use that damn drug before you take me to jail. Or one time I got arrested, I was ready to tell on my mama not to go to jail. That is the addict's worst nightmare, is to sit in jail with a habit and you can't get it. Well, guess what, guys? We don't have to do that anymore. If you're sitting in treatment, sit still. Shut up and listen. This ain't Burger King. You can't have it your way. You have to listen to other people, and you cannot trust your own thinking. Your best thinking got you a seat, a bed, a van ride to a meeting where you are. Your best thinking got you there. So right now, guys, guess what? You can't trust your thinking. You have to be willing and be enough of a man, not a weakling, enough of a strong man to say, hey, I was thinking about going to Walmart and sticking a rifle in my pants leg and limping out of the store. Does that sound like a good idea? And hopefully it's the right person. It's not me when I was in my addiction putting jumper capers on people going, yeah, I think you could do it. I'll watch your back. you know. I would actually watch people's back when they would do dumb stuff and laugh the whole time. I would have tears run out of my eyes. I can't believe this dude is doing this, you know. But guess what? When they got away, we on our way. Okay. So I'm saying all that to say this. When I was in treatment, guys, I was unmanageable. Finally, I got myself together. I quit being selfish, self-centered, and self-seeking, and decided to apply 50% of the effort that I used to get high. You know, many of us went through a lot of hoops, went through a lot of moves, a lot of stuff. I remember a guy got in a truck with somebody that said they were going to cop and ended up in Mountain Home, Idaho from Cleveland, Ohio. How does that happen? Couldn't make it back because you know how guys do. They promise you the world. Then when they get tired, they drop you off or they get paranoid. You know, you drive 2,000 miles, somebody, they look at you and go, hey, who is you? How'd you get in my truck? You like, fool, you better take me back to Cleveland. They like, you better get out my truck. And then you at the truck stop, you know, like a lot lizard, a male lot lizard, trying to figure out how you gonna get back to Ohio. So we don't have to live like that, guys. You are skilled, you are smart. You just need to work on your thinking one day at a time. You don't erase 12 years of behavior in 2 weeks, in 60 days. It doesn't happen that way. You're just now coming out of the fog of addiction, of extreme, profound self-centeredness, of extreme and profound self-seeking. All about me, my way or no way. I can't get along with anybody. I'm in sober living, but I want my own room. I want my own house. I want my own sober house because I can't get along with nobody. Everybody is a jerk. Everybody. But guess what? If you're in every situation, maybe it's you. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you should have your own sober house. Get yourself together, buy you a house, and live there by yourself. But if you're in somebody's program, you can't tell them how to run their stuff. You couldn't run your life. You, Mr. Smart Man, you couldn't run your life. You ended up in somebody's house with nothing but a Dollar General bag of clothes, of belongings. And now, a few 24 hours, you get a couple meals under your belt, some rest. Now you know everything. You don't. You're still that same person. You have to work on you. It's easy for us in recovery and addiction to find fault in someone else. We always can say, oh yeah, what he need to do is what do you need to do? What do you need to do? Work on you. I promise you, if you work on you, one day you will get the chance to advise someone else, to make suggestions. We don't tell people what to do in recovery. We make suggestions. Whether you choose to do it, it's up to you. Because guess what? You learn to take suggestions when you realize what you've been doing wasn't working. I spent 22 years, guys, using in the streets of Cleveland, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Atlanta. And cocaine did the same thing it did to me in Ohio in all of those locations. Geographical cures do not work. Every time you move, you take the problem with you. The problem is your thinking. It's never the drug because guess what? Every time you use, you're there. And usually, you're sober before you pick up. So what is going on with your sober mind that could convince you to pick up that drug that has been severely mistreating you every time you pick it up? But your mind has to trick you to say, no, it's going to be different this time. You good, Rob? Go on, do it. Levance, man, go to the west side instead of the east side. Go to Akron instead of Canton. It'll turn out different. And then as soon as you do, your addiction takes his hands off the wheel because now Levance is going to take over. Levance knows what to do. He's about to be manipulative to anybody he meets on the street. He can manipulate drug dealers out of free drugs, all of that. But we're not mad at them when we come to treatment, are we? We're mad at the people trying to help us. We ain't mad at the drug dealer that's been selling us drugs for the last 5 years. We ain't mad at him. Oh, all the respect to him. My man, my dude. Yeah. That's who you should be bad at. That's who you should be disrespected. You know? Just stay away from them. But don't get mad at the people that are trying to help you, that are trying to advise you on how to change your life. Because if you could change it without them, you would have changed it and you would have never met them. It's not that lady's fault that you were in her group therapy class. It's not the people's fault at the meeting that you don't want to speak to or you don't want to participate in that you're there. They were there before you got there. They didn't send for you. They didn't say, hey, can you go get that brother from Cincinnati, from Columbus, from Toledo, and bring them to my meeting? Didn't happen that way, guys. You earned your own seat. Walk it out. I promise you, life will get better one day at a time. Promise you. It'll happen for you. You know, don't be mad at the solution. Be mad at the problem. Be mad at you. And then fix you. Let God fix you. It's okay. You know, the Bible says all has sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That is Romans 3:23. Read it. All has sinned. Joe Biden's son sinned. Joe Biden's son was doing what I used to do. Smoking crack cocaine. And your dad is the president of the United States. Or the vice president at the time. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He was doing what I was doing. And so let you know, guys, that addiction does not discriminate. From the White House to the doghouse, drugs are everywhere. But you don't have to use anymore unless you come up with a great excuse that you think warrants you to pick that drug up again that severely mistreated you your whole using career. Why? Once I figured I had missed enough comedy shows, had missed enough meeting great comedians and media personalities that I wanted to meet, and I couldn't show up for the show because I was worried about them knowing that I was using. Well, guess what? When you don't show up, now they know something's wrong. You know, I thought if I don't show up and they don't see me high, then they won't think that I get high. Well, guess what? When they announce your name at a show with Judge Greg Mathis, about 20 years ago, they announced my name, and I wasn't there. My manager was there. I wasn't there. Where was I? In the crack house. Telling some guys that I was supposed to do a show with Greg Mathis. They were impressed, but show never happened. So don't miss your show. Whatever your show is, whatever your career is, you're a carpenter, if you're an IT person, if you like cutting lawns, you like doing warehouse, driving a forklift, whatever it is, don't miss your opportunity to get back to that career, to get back to being a responsible adult. You know, Amazon has a warehouse in Canton. I advise you to get a bicycle and get over to Amazon, who has some of the best benefits of any company in the world from day one. You don't have to wait 90 days to use your medical. You have medical from day one at Amazon. Yeah, it's work, but guess what? Addiction is work too. Did you get paid for addiction? Did you get medical benefits for addiction? No. You got medical benefits now because that's what's paying for you to be there, but it ain't the benefits you want. You want medical benefits where if you get hurt at work, you're covered. If you want to go back to school, get more education around your job or whatever your goals are, Amazon will pay for it. Go to work, guys. You don't want to work in a warehouse? Drive a truck. Do logistics. You know, a lot of stuff you can do, but it's close to you. I'm speaking to my brother. You know, I told him about Amazon. I had my other brother, youngest brother, who is a weed head and thinks that weed is like cigarettes. He worked for Amazon, but quit because he said they didn't want to pay him his check. Well, guess what? Amazon has direct deposit, but everybody's first check at Amazon is a paper check. He couldn't handle that, so he quit. So, thinking problem. Thinking problem. Nobody has more money to make payroll than Amazon. So you think Amazon really wants to play you for $500 for your first check for training? You really think that's what they really about? Okay, well, now you don't have a job. Now you're not making Amazon money and you don't have Amazon benefits. So, guys, you don't have to live like that anymore. Find God for yourself, pray, meditate, and start again. I always say this every show. How you start getting out of your self-centeredness and self-seeking is by endeavoring to do something nice for another person that's not expecting it, and you're not expecting anything in return every day. That's how you do recovery. That's what give it away to keep it means. It means I'm going to do something for you, and my payment is going to be that smile and that thank you that you give me for doing that deed for you. Unexpected, and I'm not going to follow you around for 6 hours because I did something for you with my hand out. That's not recovery. That is addiction 101. I helped you, now you owe me. That's like going to somebody's house with your snow shovel and it's 3/4 of an inch of snow. No, 1/4 of an inch of snow. And you show up and knock on their door and tell them with your shovel, I'm finished. You didn't even shovel. You know, I know a guy that did that. A guy grew up in the street. His parents owned the house for 40 years on the same street. They all watched him grow up. And actually, he used to shovel snow at one time. But guess what he started doing? He would show up and say, I'm finished. They would just pay him. And he wouldn't even have shoveled the snow. But he had built up the reputation. They didn't have to look. And so because he knew they weren't going to look, they just pay him. He still lives there, scared to come outside. Those same old people waiting on him with a 2-shot Derringer, you know. But so many stories, so many twisted ways of thinking, guys, in addiction recovery. But we don't have to live with it. It's funny. If it's mental health diagnosis, take your medicine. If you don't need medicine, get your mind right. Go to counseling. Get your life together. I did it one day at a time. I didn't get 17 years, 359 days in 2 weeks. You know how long it took me to get it? 17 years, 359 days. That's how long it took me to get 17 years, 359 days. I did it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. I got out of myself and started doing for other people and leave the results to God. You can't create your own results. Many of us try to create our own results and we fail every time because we can't do it. If we could create our own results, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting, sleeping where you're sleeping. But it's okay. Change is coming. Walk it out. Peace.